We'll call this May 2nd meeting of the Centreville Town Council to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, council members, in your packets, you have the meeting minutes from the April 18th meeting of the Town Council. Are there any changes or additions to the minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the April 18th Town Council.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we will now have our first citizens forum. Citizens are requested to keep their comments to 3 minutes. Are there any citizens that wish to address the council? Jamie. Got to try every time. All right, we have a couple of appearances this evening. So first up, we will have GTI providing some updates. If you guys want to come on up.
Welcome.
I brought friends for moral support,
Always good.
right? Co-workers.
We'll be extra hard on you then.
Well, first of all, thank you. Appreciate the opportunity to have an open dialogue with you all. So appreciate that. Understand, obviously, there were concerns raised from town residents about the odors from our operations on Comet Drive. If you're not familiar, GTI is Green Thumb Industries. We are a publicly traded cannabis company based out of Chicago, Illinois. So back in January, we presented a plan of odor control, which GTI committed to implementing at a significant cost, both in terms of capital investment and ongoing operation. And, giving a little bit of background, and then I'll tell you where we're at today. Overview. As a reminder, we hired Bayer Scientific to perform an assessment of the odors from our operations and to recommend an odor control plan with the goal of elimination. This plan involved the purchase and installation of a molecular, and pardon me, these are big words, molecular filtration, aka carbon scrubbing system inside its facility as a preliminary phase of odor control, and an exterior atomization odor control system as a secondary measure utilizing a safe and effective liquid odor neutralizer. We are committed to ongoing operation, adjustment, and monitoring of this equipment to eliminate odor to the level possible. Today's update, as of today, we have installed the complete system and are starting up and commissioning all of the components over the next 2 weeks. Bayer Scientific is actually on site today and tomorrow to help us start setting baseline so that we can make sure that it's performing the way it was intended and designed. Next, I'd like to kind of walk you through all the commitments outlined in our previous letter from December of 2023 and provide updates on those particular items. As I mentioned, we're taking baseline measurements over the next 2 weeks while the setup is finalized. We plan to turn on the full odor control system on May 15th, 2024. So a letter dated December 13th, 2023 to the Town Council. We committed to a couple of spaces in particular. We talked about concentrated events. Those are where we're focusing our efforts. So extraction in particular is where we take a lot of cannabis. We really kind of boil it down or distill it down, and that's where a lot of our smell emanates from in our facility. So the inner booth space, as well as the outer booth space for the extraction exhaust, we have installed the molecular air filtration systems in those spaces for the CO2 room exhaust, and we use CO2, carbon dioxide, as a solvent to help us extract cannabinoids from the cannabis. The facility's CO2 room exhaust was also measured, and we addressed that situation with a molecular air filtration system or carbon scrubbing. Post-processing room also has exhaust. It was deemed no filtration necessary for those exhausts based on the measurements taken. Kitchen exhaust, we did also install a molecular air filtration in the kitchen exhaust hoods as well. In the kitchen, we make gummies with cannabis infused. ERV exhaust, This was measured at 500 CFM, so deemed a source of potential odor, and we addressed that also with a molecular air filtration system. Cultivation harvest indoor, no controls were recommended by Byers Scientific at this time. What we found is that when we take it and concentrate it down further is where the real smell odors are coming from, and that's where we addressed, our system and our solution. And then the drying trailer outside will also have a molecular air filtration installed as well. And I believe that completes the updates from the letter dated December 13th of last year. Going forward, we're also implementing a long-term monitoring plan. We're going to have a quarterly third-party testing to ensure the effectiveness of the system. So they'll measure it without the machine, without the system on, and with the system on each quarter. Based on the results of the testing, the system will be adjusted to ensure to eliminate odor to the level possible. GTI will be making regular filter changes and calibrations of these systems to continue to ensure the effectiveness. And also additionally, GTI reps, we did meet with Symphony Village late last year, and we'd like to also hold a follow-up meeting there in the subsequent weeks, because I think that'd be an important piece to this. So that kind of wraps up my summation. Hopefully I can answer any questions you have.
No questions from me. Anyone else?
Yes, I'm trying to, I'm kind of looking to the future where might be other facilities that, from one of your competitors might want to build in town, and we don't want to start this process all over again and just wait for complaints, but is there any way to measure, or can you provide some kind of metric that could be used, as a standard that, we could kind of go with?
I believe we can. Through this 2-week process, we're going to, determine the effectiveness and then report back on the effectiveness to say, hey, we've got more work to do. We believe that this is an effective solution. We overbuilt and prepared for this, but yes, we'd come back and share more information as it becomes available. Okay. Did this work? And if so, certainly would be easier to ask folks to do it ahead of time, right? I mean, a custom build, this is why it's taking so long. Most people are probably being like, weren't we talking about this 6 months ago? We were. And so ultimately, with a custom design system, because we had to make it fit into what we're already doing, I definitely think talking to anyone who would come in later would be helpful to say, listen, this was a problem for our first producer. Here's how they mitigated or eliminated the odors. Right. We'd appreciate if you do this up front, because I think if it's built into the HVAC from the beginning, it's cheaper and also, just faster.
Oh, yeah.
So you're saying if there's a metric that we could codify to say,
whatever that is,
you must
so many
mitigate
particles
to
per
a certain level.
Yeah, there'll be a CFM level.
Yeah.
I'm not a scientist, so I will definitely get the scientists to tell me, what that is, and we'll share that back. Because there's definitely a point where you could measure it, but you wouldn't smell it, if that makes sense.
Right, yeah, that makes sense.
Right, and we would want you guys have been so great working with the community to make this happen. We wouldn't want a competitor to come in and not be willing to do anything, and then GTI's done all this and the town still smells.
Yeah, right, it would be fair. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, no, we're excited to be in Centreville. 207 people work for us currently. We're going to 230, roughly, somewhere in there, right? Yeah. So we're excited about that. Got a couple of our local leaders with me tonight as well. So.
Awesome.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I have noticed that the smell has been greatly reduced. I don't know if you've done anything recently, but I used
so
to.
the machine, it's been on, but intermittently as we test to make sure that its effectiveness.
Right.
Outdoor trailer, I think will make a big impact as well for this year. That drying trailer will have, the carbon scrubbing as well. Okay. So, yeah, it's good to hear that it's been reduced, and obviously we're going to continue to work to, be a good partner to the community. It's important to us. A lot of our folks live in the community, that work for us. So certainly being good neighbors and partners is important to us.
Great, and if you need help facilitating a follow-up with Symphony Village, we can certainly do that.
Okay. Yeah, I think I have some contacts and I will reach out, but certainly, yeah, I want to do that in probably the next couple of weeks, just to make sure that they get an update as well and feel comfortable with where we're at.
Yeah, and we'll probably have two of us attend again, maybe a different two.
That was what I was going to say.
Jeff and I went last time.
Oh, okay. Split the meetings.
I would be absolutely willing to go. I want to applaud you all
You
in
can
your
sit with
effort.
my parents.
Yeah, there you go. Your investment of time and capital, I think, goes a long way. And so I am that confident that this will be successful that I would be honored to go with you and stand strong in saying, this is the solution and let's give it a chance to work. Two quick questions, though.
Sure.
The first is, there are two legal entities that operate in the building, is that correct?
Two licenses, yes,
Two
sir. So the
licenses.
way that the state of Maryland splits us is typically cultivation and what we would call manufacturing licenses. The cultivation is strictly plants. When we take it and further process it, whether that's extraction, cooking gummies, et cetera, that allows us the ability to do that. So we are seen as two separate licenses within the building.
The solution is basically for both
Correct.
areas that are licensed.
Yes, sir.
And that, I know, would be a question that might come up.
Okay.
And then, just so I understand, so the next 2 weeks will be sort of implementation, assessing, and then there might be an opportunity to tweak or strengthen kind of what you're
Correct.
doing.
Yeah, as it should work as designed, but we also like to commission things properly to make sure that they actually do work and that, obviously we paid buyers a good amount of money to help us with this, so we're holding them accountable as well to make sure that it works as designed. Buyers Scientific is a company out of Colorado that actually specializes in cannabis odor, elimination and mitigation. So we're confident this is going to work, but certainly, we like to test first and, measure twice, cut once.
Exactly. And as you know, I'm coming in for a tour. I want to be very clear, that's not an inspection. In no way is it to be seen that way.
We're not qualified.
Exactly. That's the foremost. But secondarily, I just want to be able to tell community members that may still be agitated or not necessarily believing that this is going to get better, that, hey, went through, saw some of the implementation, can testify it's there,
Great. Yeah, we look
So-
forward to hosting you and other members as they become available, and certainly, it's important to us to show off what we're doing. We're proud of it. We feel like we make the best product in the state. We sell the most in the state. We have the largest share of the market. We're excited about that. We think it's due to our great people, from this area that work for us, as well as, our processes and our, products that we make. It's important to us. We have 4 stores as well in the state. They're in Hagerstown, Silver Springs, Bethesda, and Joppa. All 4 of those are high-performing retail sites for us as well, and we're just, excited to be in Maryland. It's actually, I can't remember, guys, either second or third biggest state for us as far as total, actually number 1 in products produced, if we're looking at total units. And I think we're either number 2 or 3 in revenue. So we're really excited about being here. It's a great fit for us, and thank you for being great neighbors, and it's a great community to be a part of. We're hoping to get more involved quickly, with things like veteran affairs, et cetera, to help, certainly support the community, make some donations, et cetera, so.
Oh, one thing that I think is important for council, and I mentioned this the last time you guys came in, and that is wanting to make sure that you all are not being attributed to odor from other establishments. And I don't want to call any other vendors, businesses out, but I know there were a lot of complaints for folks that went to like Community Behavioral Health and others in that complex that included Ash and Ember.
Sure.
And so our understanding is they are looking to take over the new warehouse right down the road from you that Davis Emery has built, and for some additional growth manufacturing that's what I'm hearing. May not be true, and I shouldn't be talking about it if it's not, but
We
I
hear
just
the
think
same.
That's part of the, you're doing a great job, and so my fear, and I just want this to be on our radar screen, is that if there are continued odors that have nothing to do with what you've already abated significantly, that we need to be able to decipher that. So it's just something I think we need to think about. But thank you very, very much.
Of course, thank you. And I will be, I want to make sure that if there are complaints over the summer, something we want to hear about them, see how we can help, eliminate, certainly be interested in what's happening. We believe this to be an effective, effective piece of equipment or pieces of equipment, but certainly if you hear otherwise, I think you have my cell phone number. You can call me and text me anytime. Certainly want to make sure that we're operating appropriately. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we have the Arts Council. Come on up. I'm excited about this.
Hello. Ashley, thank you so much for helping us to get on the agenda
Yeah.
for tonight. I so appreciate it. So the Arts Council wants to bring something to Centreville that we've never had before. And we are hoping to have the partnership of the town council and the town. Basically, what we're proposing for October 6th, Sunday, October 6th, from 2 to 6, is what we're calling Rockin' the Porch, which is a porch party in this downtown area and some of the homes in St. Paul's Church and Wright's Chance, where we will have 7 different bands of different kinds of music: jazz, orchestral, country, Latino, all kinds of different genres of bands on people's porches. They'll be playing for 45 minutes at a 15-minute break, playing for 45 minutes at different venues. People will, hopefully the community and the broader community, people will walk around from venue to venue and listen to music and enjoy the day and enjoy each other, ending at 5 in the town square we are going to have a really rock and funk band. We're hoping to have food trucks. We're hoping to have artisans. We are really excited about it. We've already got 6 of the 7 venues. People promise that they will give us their porches or give us their space. For the bands themselves, we've already been contacting the bands. We'll have who's playing for us and the contract signed, we're hoping by the middle of June. And we are asking the town council for your support and help in a variety of ways that I'll outline right now. We are going to need help closing Lawyers Row. We're going to need help with the town square. I don't know what this will involve exactly yet for traffic management. That's to be discussed and figured out. We'd like to get a 1-day liquor license for the event, perhaps have a beer garden in the town square or have something where we can sell things. Obviously, the Alibi, the creamery will be closed, will hopefully be open for business for us. We are going to generate, the Arts Council is, besides our sweat equity and our focus, we are going to be donating $100,000 to this. We're going to be providing all the graphics and advertising and the committee. We'd like that banner right at 213 as you're coming into town. We'd like to be able to put a big thing advertising this there.
Out at the
for
park.
At Millstream Park, a couple of weeks or 3 weeks beforehand to try to get the word out. We'd also hope that the town council will be one of our sponsors for this and help us with some money. We are going to be, once we find that you all want to partner with us, then then that gives us the foundation where we can go out and get various sponsorships for various entities and business around to help make this happen. We are thinking it's going to be way fun and really great for the community. And we haven't done this before. It's not a new idea. This is a kind of a national thing that some, usually smaller towns make happen. They've had one in Chestertown, they have one in Rock Hall. And so we've consulted with those people. So we're trying to get ready to do it, but I think it's going to be a wonderful event. But we need the town to be part of our partnership.
Well, I love it. I'm friends with a member of the Arts Council board, and she's been sharing with me a little bit about it. I think if we knock down these requests one at a time is probably easiest. Yes. Closing Lawyers Row feels relatively simple. It will already be closed until 1 that day or 2 that day for farmer's market, because it's a Sunday, right?
We'll have to
It's a Sunday.
also partner with them to see if they want to extend their time
Yeah.
into this. Yeah.
So that feels easy-ish to me, just to,
Usually you guys just make a motion to,
yeah, so let's just do these. Okay, I make a motion to approve the closure of Lawyers Row, to extend the existing approved closure until, let's do 7 PM to make sure that they have time to disperse
Second.
on October 6th. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we don't give liquor licenses. What we can do, once you work with the county to get what you need, is allow the public consumption of alcohol in town, like we do for Drink Maryland.
and that's another vote from the council, just waiving that.
Is that a-
Right, but we would do that once they've obtained the ability, you get a liquor license from the county.
Okay.
The town square is also the county.
Right.
Yeah, so do you know Carol D'Agostino, our Main Street
Yes, I
manager?
do. In fact, I consulted with her when I
She can
first
help
tried to
you
get
with the
this done.
square about who to contact.
And the
'cause-
liquor part.
And the liquor, yeah, and we can help you with who to contact with at the liquor board, Kathy.
Can't remember her name.
But you have our support, if the county
Yeah.
wants
So
to know
you-
that, it's
You
like,
express
yeah.
that we're
right.
supportive, obviously, we're
Yes,
trying
right.
to knock these
Okay, so-
out.
And then
The banner.
The banner, I would, let me see, we can check with, the ladies in the front office, because we reserve that, and it's, the max you can do is 2 weeks prior to the event.
Okay.
So we can ask them to go ahead and just put that on there, assuming that it's not already taken, but it shouldn't be this far out, so, yeah.
And I talked to Carol in November as I was trying to
Okay.
get this thing organized, and I'll be happy to talk to.
And when Katie and I spoke, I said, some of this for sure we're kicking to Carol, but we'll
Yeah,
talk
some of
about it.
it.
We'll talk about it all at the
She
meeting.
just knows all the contacts, and it's just,
And then on the sponsorship front, frankly, I appreciate the ask. We have budgeted a little bit of money for the council to give to nonprofits every year that I've been on the council, and every year I've been up here, we've never been asked for any of it. And so we do have money in the current year budget.
current year and the coming year, 1,000.
Coming year, we have
Yeah.
1,000. So I'd like to propose we give $500 of the current, and I'm so bad at this, like all I work in for work is fiscal years, but we are in 24. Of the 24 budget, $500 to the Arts Council in support of this event.
Thank you.
Right? Any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Absolutely, yes.
Aye. Woo! All right. You got a road closure and $500. We'll help you with the rest.
Thank you so much.
Fern, just
Yeah.
one quick
No,
thing.
I'm sorry, any
And
questions?
you'll hear this again, but if you guys want to make a repeat of this, just remind everybody involved not to put any stakes in the county's land in that square, because they watch very closely every event we have. Somebody's out there scouting to see what we've done.
You can't stake anything in the
And I
ground.
guess there's a water irrigation system in there, and so if we puncture one of the lines, it might lead to we won't do that event
It's a
again.
rule
So,
follower.
I know, I'm trying. So. It's hard, because it's like you want to put signs up, and so
Yeah.
we can talk about that more offline, but there's just a couple little things, and Carol knows all of that.
She does
so,
all that.
yep.
Okay. So, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think this is going to be a really great event for the community, and the Arts Council is kind of tickled to be able to spearhead it.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to go to it.
Amen.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Fern.
All right. Man, usually when we have public hearings, I'm like, Jamie's up here talking to me so we can get to our 5 minutes, but we're starting this one late.
I purposely put it down after the appearances, just because we
So that I
are
wouldn't
really
have to
running a
do
little
that?
early. Yeah.
All right, so now we have our public hearing on Resolution 9-2024, Charter Amendment, Section 701, which is sponsored by Councilmember Beecham, who is not here. But we'll just go ahead and read the public hearing stuff. A resolution of the Town Council of Centreville for the purpose of amending the town charter to revise the reporting structure for the chief of police. It says, I will ask Councilmember Beecham to provide background. He's not here. This is relatively simple. A couple years ago, or maybe even more recent, I don't know. The reporting structure was changed for the chief of police to report to the town manager rather than through the town council. We've had some discussion about this ongoing, off and on, and Councilmember Beecham presented this charter amendment that would formalize a return to the previous reporting structure for the chief of police. Is that sufficient?
That sounds.
Okay. I will now call Gay Adams, town clerk, to present evidence of the published notice of this hearing. And if we could take conversations to the hallway, that would be really great. All right.
This is to certify that the annex legal advertisement has been published in the Bay Times Record Observer. Resolution 092024 was published on April 12th, 2024.
Okay, we will first hear from all those in favor of proposed resolution 9/2024 and then hear from those opposed. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes. You're welcome to provide written testimony as well. Can you read the public comment guidelines?
Welcome to this meeting of the Centreville Town Council. This is a public meeting, and we welcome your participation. By attending, you acknowledge that this session is recorded and aired live on QACTV 7. During the meeting, we ask that you turn your cell phones off and hold personal conversations outside the meeting room. The scheduled agenda is available on the information table just outside. Public comment will be limited to 3 minutes per person. The Town Council respects and appreciates your desire and right to convey your message freely. And in keeping with the dignity of proceedings, we ask that all views be expressed in a respectful and civil manner. Comments longer than 3 minutes should be submitted in writing. If questions are part of your comments, we will refer to those to the appropriate individual. Thank you.
All right. We will now hear from all those in favor of the resolution. Anyone? Okay. We will now hear from all those opposing proposed resolution 9/2024. Okay. We will consider all the comments this evening before making a decision. Do I hear a motion to adjourn this hearing?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Whoa. Oh, man, I don't know. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, I declare this hearing adjourned. Okay. Next up, we have ordinance 3-2024. This is the building code. This is a second reading.
So we have a public hearing scheduled for May 16th, right, Gay? Yes.
Okay. All right, so nothing you need from us tonight. Okay, next up, ordinance 4-2024, and that's the budget.
So nothing different from the last meeting. We have a public hearing scheduled for May 16th, and we are going to hold the vote till June 6th when you and Councilman Beecham will be back.
Okay, great. Sounds good. Okay. Next, we have the resolution that we just had a public hearing for, up for consideration. I was not aware Councilmember Beecham wouldn't be here tonight. Do we want to move action? Do we want to delay? If we delay, it's until the June meeting, as he will not be at the next meeting either.
I think so too.
Okay.
Let's go ahead.
All right. Does anyone want to make a motion, or?
I'll make that motion. I guess I need to do it from the sheet. I apologize.
I don't think we have a sheet. So you're
What's
just gonna
that?
you're gonna have to wing it.
Make a motion for the town council to approve resolution 09-2024, a resolution of the town council of Centreville for the purpose of amending the town charter to revise the reporting structure for the chief of police.
Do you have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All right, we'll do a roll call vote. Council Vice President Johnson? Yes. Councilmember Worth?
Yes.
Councilmember Keel?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
All right.
I feel confident that Councilmember Beecham would also have voted in the affirmative. All right, next up, we have Resolution 10-2024, parking spaces.
So I wanted to actually ask, who it did get hot in here, I'm sorry. I did want to ask the council to delay this till the June meeting. We, when we brought this up in department heads, our department head meeting, we all had a different opinion of what the last parking space was going to be. So I just wanted to get clarification from the council which parking space they deem as the last parking space to remove, up here or down there.
This feels like what color is the dress?
I know.
This just feels like a debate we could spend the rest of our lives on. I would consider the last space, the one where or the rear of the car is at the end of the space, like last in order of how cars are parked.
So the one closest to
All right, is
the
Dan
one
posted?
up here on Lawyers.
Right here.
Okay,
One closest to Lawyers Road.
Right.
all right.
So I thought where we left things last meeting was that we would do some enforcement of the cars only
Yeah, I thought we were going
first. Has that happened?
I don't believe so. I don't. Didn't know it's. Well.
I think it's cars only that whole stretch,
yeah, the
correct?
whole stretch is cars
Let's,
only.
let's
Yeah, we did.
enforce all the laws of the town all the time as an option.
I'm okay with that.
So, yeah, so we will make sure we do that. And then,
I'd like to
First
keep
spot.
seeing this on the agenda so we do something about it, but I just
Yeah.
think let's get some enforcement data of some sort.
Right, right.
And then go from there, because I know there is some concern up here about just kind of willy-nilly eliminating parking spaces.
right, yeah. And I didn't want the council to do anything, which is why I said I just want to let us have the kind of the next 2 weeks or the rest of the month to do our enforcement, get rid of the one spot. But I had a different opinion what the last spot was than everyone.
Right, we were confused when we were talking about this the first time, because the spot that I think is a problem is not the spot that you think would be a problem.
Right.
Oh.
Fascinating.
In yellow, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, keep us posted.
Okay,
These are the kinds of reasons we all ran.
what's that?
These are the kinds of reasons we all ran for the council.
Yes, I'm sure.
I'll get the town manager an SUV so she can see her with the car.
Yeah. Hey, I like that.
All right. Next up is the employment agreement for police officers.
Chief is going to talk about that.
Who's up?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So in the council's packet is a draft for an employment agreement for police officers with the town of Centreville. Ultimately, I would like the council to consider implementation of this contract because it's my understanding that the town has never had a contract with employment for police officers and maybe not even any employee at that point. In a nutshell, this agreement would basically provide a little bit of security for the town as far as funds. Any officer that is applied or has accepted employment with the town would have to sign this agreement for a 3-year time period or term. Ultimately, that would allow reimbursement for training, any type of accoutrements, specified uniforms like specified fittings, anything we've spent money on that specific officer for that we can't reuse at a later time. It has been a discussion previously with the council, I believe, and there was some concern about prior employees that their contracts were bought out, and then ultimately they separated from employment with the town, and we were left holding a bill. This would help probably prevent that, or at least I hope so would. I don't know if you've had time to actually review the agreement itself. I did take the time to send a draft to our town attorney, which she should recognize. It is one that is familiar. It is actually somewhat mimicking the one from the town of Easton, another municipality. The only difference would be they had a 4-year, which I changed ours to a 3. So that would be the only difference. And I've made a few adjustments to the verbiage to account for it being for the town of Centreville versus
Okay.
town of Easton. I did get a head nod tonight and an email stating that it did look in agreement with our town attorney.
Okay, perfect. I mean, I personally think it's a great idea. I mean, I don't think 3 years is too long of a commitment to ask.
Yeah, it's, in looking at other jurisdictions, they're even going up to 5 years, which I think is a little much, but Easton had 4. I think for town of Centreville, 3 was sufficient.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's, take your,
Right, the repayment's like prorated anyway, so, yeah, if they did want to leave
Right.
earlier, they, yeah. They would have to
so,
pay
I mean,
back
there's
less.
things like name tags and things like that we can't reuse that, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Reimbursement would be.
Yeah,
fine.
I mean, right, since it's prorated,
yeah,
we'll get our money's worth and they'll get theirs,
Right.
essentially.
yeah, seems fair.
Go with it?
Just, yeah, I'm all for it, and I know this is a happy to glad kind of suggestion, but if, just like it's highlighted in yellow at the top for those blanks, when the final version is put in front of these folks, I think that last paragraph there that starts with employee hereby agrees, that first sentence, make that highlighted in yellow and not just have them initial that page, but that section right there. So there's almost zero confusion that that's the gist.
I don't want them to just get the gist. I want them to read the whole thing. So I would be not in favor of highlighting one portion of a contract that would make it seem more pertinent than
We'll direct their
others.
attention to that one.
It's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, just to be clear, I'm not suggesting that I don't want them to read the whole thing.
It's short, man.
Right now, there's a line that's bolded and underlined, so maybe that first sentence could be bolded and underlined.
The obligated to repay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is great. Do we need to act on this, or is this just an FYI for us?
Sharon, I'm looking at you.
I mean, I think it's fine to do a motion and approve it.
Okay, do we have a motion? Do
I'll make that motion.
we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief.
yeah. Okay, lost my agenda. All right, next up is Resolution 11-2024, which is the telework policy.
So this is a policy that was created for employees, just to create some guidelines for any employees who are telecommuting, if there's certain situations where they need to be at home, what the procedures are.
Okay, I think, I like having it, I think in today's world, to attract top staff, having a telework policy is a good idea. We need a resolution. This to me feels like one of those.
Sharon makes us do resolutions for all policies, so that's why all these policies come.
All right.
It's a good way to track it, I do have to say
Hey,
that.
it's helpful to know.
Yeah.
Do we have a motion on this one?
Make a motion.
to, oh, go ahead, Jeff. Come on.
Go ahead, you can go.
Make a motion to approve Resolution 11-2024 to adopt telecommunity policy for town employees.
Okay, I feel like Jeff seconds it.
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Next up, we've got Resolution 12-2024, which is a credit card policy for town employees.
I am going to bring up Ashley Russ, and she's the one who created this policy as the overseer of credit cards.
Good evening, council. So what we have for you for approval is just a credit card policy. Really didn't change. We currently have credit cards. We recently switched to a different bank for credit cards. So I figured this was a good opportunity to write a policy and get the guidelines in place so everybody knows what the do's and don'ts are of the credit cards. Also, we implemented an application for employees to fill out if there's need for them to get a credit card, which has to go through their supervisor and approval by the town manager. But the policy itself is pretty straightforward. It's been reviewed by multiple members of staff and the town attorney. So I'm here if you
Okay.
have any questions.
Well, it's pretty
Straightforward.
straightforward, yeah. Do we have a motion on this one?
I'll make that motion to approve Resolution 12-2024.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
There you go. All right, reports of boards and commissions. We do not have Maryland Municipal League report, I guess. Council of Governments.
Meeting next Wednesday.
Where, when?
Norma Mia's at 6:30.
We're all invited too.
Dinner at
right.
6:30 and a meeting at 7.
Are you running for secretary?
What?
You're running for secretary because it is election.
What?
I am not.
I thought there was somebody else that was interested.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But everyone is welcome to come. Centreville is hosting, so Mamma
Great.
Mia's in the back room.
Okay.
Yep.
Economic development.
Just two quick updates. This Monday, May 6th at 5:30 PM, we'll have a Housing Exploratory Committee. We're looking at some very innovative housing projects that include tiny homes for veterans, a similar footprint for seniors. This is being done in partnership with the Center for the Military and Veteran Families. So that meeting will actually be on Kent Island at the center, which is at Bay Bridge Marina. There is a Zoom link for anybody that would be interested in participating virtually. Reach out to me if you're interested. Then on Wednesday, May 8th of next week at 5:30 PM, we'll have our next CREED monthly meeting. That will actually be at the YMCA conference room right here in town. And that's all I have.
All right. Park Advisory Board, I have nothing. We will not be meeting this month. Planning Commission.
Planning Commission is always doing something and meets as often as we do, it
You
seems.
chose this
Yes,
assignment.
okay, so they had a work session yesterday, and they are preparing a letter to the property owners to notify them of the property map, of the zoning map changes that are to occur, the individual property owners who would be affected by the zoning changes. Our town planner, Stacy Dahlstrom, and the Maryland Department of Planning local representative, David Dahlstrom, kind of held a class last night in TND zoning, talked about the history of how the town arrived at our current TND zoning, and they showed us this plan that was developed for Carter Farm as an example that was done probably 6 years ago or something like that. So that kind of met the town code to kind of give us an idea of what a TND development would look like, which is kind of where they're leaning towards on the annexation agreement, to try to allow that to be the base zoning for the annexation instead of just R1. So, and that's all.
All right. Should we do correspondence before we go to department heads? All right, so we have some correspondence. We're gonna tackle the easy one first.
What's that?
The car one.
Oh, okay.
Do you find one of these not easier than the other?
I was only kidding.
All right, so
This
we
one
have
involves
two
one of us,
letters,
huh?
one involving our wastewater treatment plant and one involving a community event for which they would like permission to close Lawyers Row briefly the morning of Saturday, June 8th for a car situation.
And Carol, because I believe Councilman Beecham was the one who asked Mr. Phipps to contact Carol. So there is one clarifying part of this letter that I would like to point out, that it does say that that Carol had suggested closure of Lawyers Row. Carol has not suggested closure of Lawyers Row because they're only parking there while they do a tour of the courthouse or.
The closure of
around-
the parking.
Yes, closure of parking, absolutely, put up signs, but not closure of Lawyers
Oh.
Row. If the council wants to do closure of Lawyers Row, that's fine. But there is no event taking place. It's just.
Right, so it's just like for 40 minutes,
Yeah.
they need the parking while they tour the old courthouse. Do we think they mean closure of Lawyers Row, or do you think they just mean the parking?
I think they want closure of Lawyers Row, yes.
Because of these classic cars
I believe so, yes.
that are going to be there.
I don't think that's unreasonable
I
for
don't
the
think it is
timeframe.
either. It's such a short time
Probably
frame,
nobody
and
parking
there's-
there anyway. Yeah.
Like a couple hundred feet later, there's another way to get the same place.
Right.
So I'm not,
fine.
so this isn't gonna be a massive inconvenience to anybody beyond the parking, which is already an inconvenience whether the road's closed or not. So I think we go with closure.
I'm willing to make that motion.
Hey, do we have a second?
I'm saying it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, and Lawyers Row is soon gonna be walking only at this rate,
Council President, is that closure, I didn't hear, closure of the entire road?
the road, yep. So the police will probably block parking the night before to make sure that it's empty in the morning and then just be closed for like an hour. Cool, okay. The next letter is from the
It's from Crystal River Conservancy,
Shore Rivers, and the Chesapeake Legal Alliance, and the Queen Anne's County Conservation Association about our wastewater treatment plant. We had sought their feedback, correct? You had conversations with
Yes, we've
them
had conversations with them throughout this process.
because of our need to stream discharge when we expand and upgrade the wastewater treatment plant. You guys have all been in receipt of the letter. So, thoughts?
Yes, and of course, they don't want to have us to have a stream discharge into the Corsica River.
They do want to hook up to our plant.
What they would like to hook up to our system
Yeah.
at some point. Okay, so, yeah, I mean, there's a couple asks that they have. One is use reverse osmosis to achieve zero or near zero nutrient effluent. Well, we're not going to get to zero or near zero. We'll meet state requirements, but we are using that system, and maybe at some point it could be upgraded to that level of treatment if the state required it. I mean, they're asking for things that are beyond what would be required for other municipalities or other wastewater treatment plants. And I also believe that, I mean, I haven't done the math. I got to review the math again, but I believe that the amount of nitrogen and phosphorus we'd be discharging would be the same amount, basically, because the water would actually be cleaner than it is now. We're not, you know, I don't know. They're trying to paint an image like we're going back to, you know, dumping wastewater at the same treatment level that we had like 20 years ago. And it's like, no, it's going to be much better than that. It's going to be ENR treated, not
I came very
PNR
close to
treated.
volunteering to drink it, so.
You did volunteer, and I said you would.
right.
So.
Yeah, well,
Part of the record.
yeah, but they said we're not going to be there just yet, but it could be
Yeah,
done
no,
at
but-
some point, right?
And the plant is already excessively expensive.
Yes,
For which we are trying to find resources so that this doesn't go on the backs of ratepayers.
right, which is already,
To add the reverse osmosis is to add, we don't even know.
Probably $10 to $15 million.
Yes.
So to go in excess of $50 million for the plant, which the same,
And it's not
Interest
just
groups.
the reverse osmosis, there's also other components
Right.
that have to go along with our.
and the same interest groups that would want the reverse osmosis would not want the level of development that we would have to allow to recoup the funds should we spend an absurd $50 million on a wastewater treatment plant. I mean, this is a little bit of, you know, at this point, the plant needs to be upgraded, whether it's expanded or not. The plant needs to be upgraded. And we're like a little in a rock and a hard place here. I don't know what it is anyone wants from us.
So I do have a couple comments because we did meet with our engineers today to get their feedback on this letter as well. We also met last week, I think it was, town staff, our engineers, a representative from Corsica River Conservancy and Shore Rivers. And MDE did a PowerPoint on the town's wastewater treatment plant compared to other non-point source
yeah.
pollution that goes into the bay, or I'm sorry, into the river. So right now, out of the total nitrogen that is tested in the Corsica River, the town contributes 0.5% to that total nitrogen. Total phosphorus, we contribute 3% of the total. So there were some comments that our engineers had. I actually downloaded the PowerPoint because I was going to show a few slides, but I apparently left the stick in my computer. So I do have the actual slides printed out, but the town more than exceeds what the levels are that the state requires. And then when we are going to ENR, then yes, it's going to be even, stricter, and our levels are going to be even lower. The zero, whatever they called it, zero pollution into the river is basically, it's basically water reuse.
Right.
Which,
You can't get to.
When there was discussions at one time about injection wells, this was the process, a reverse osmosis, and then when we would be injecting into the aquifer, that would be a zero water reuse. We're pulling it back out, but we're not doing that, so there is not a need for a reverse osmosis.
Can I comment and then a couple of suggestions? The comment would be, and to our council president's point, I don't think it would be a highly complex process to be able to say, if we go forward as is, this is what it's going to cost, this is the burden that we're under to raise those funds, et cetera. And if we were to add this level of technology, it's going to be this much, and a few bullets on this is kind of what we're faced with, and I think your points are well taken. So my suggestion is we remind the group that the standards, the environmental standards that continue to be imposed become increasingly more restrictive. And so the town's commitment's obviously going to be, as those continue to change, we can assert, and we should verify this, I'm sure it's in those slides, that the level of technology we have can continue to adapt to newer, more restrictive standards. I just think that that's important to offer. And then I think it's worth asking if grant funding became available that would allow towns to incorporate that level of nutrient removal, this sort of pollution removal is what I guess I should say, that our plant would have the technology to be adaptive to that. So those are just a couple thoughts, to try to respond with something that says, look, we're with you. There is a cost consideration. We obviously commit to maintaining the standards or exceeding them to the extent that we can. And if funding becomes available, then we will adapt and potentially, fold in new solutions.
Good?
Didn't he also say something in the letter about buying another farm?
Not in this letter, I
Not in
think
this
they
letter,
have
it was
before.
one.
Oh, yeah, I thought I
Yeah.
did see something about that.
Yeah,
Which we can.
exactly. That's why we're trying to do.
Right.
We like to do
We wish
that,
it was
yeah.
that simple.
Yeah,
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Why didn't we think of that?
yeah. Why did we-
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like,
That's right.
Oh, man. All right. Well,
So, and, I mean, we've had many conversations with MDE, and one of the comments that was made is that it seems as though the town of Centreville is being asked, the town of Centreville contributes 2% to the health of the Corsica River, and we are being asked to we're being asked to prepare it for 100%.
yeah.
And it's not fair to the town. I mean, agriculture is what's making up the 42% of the
Right.
pollutants that are going into the river. So, I don't know. But, yeah.
So did.
Yeah.
That 2% includes like stormwater from the towns, just, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Great. Reports of department heads.
Real quick, I just talked about the discussion we had with MDE. Staff met today to discuss a plan for the remaining ARPA funds. So at the June 6th meeting, Karen's going to come with a memo that will outline what we've discussed and recommendations to the council for consideration. We start open enrollment next week for town staff. We've got a couple in person, and the following week are some virtual sessions. And then I have asked Public Works to come in and discuss with the council more for public information on the lead and copper inventory that we have to do that's required by the state, just to make sure that citizens are aware what needs to happen. We're going to get some email blasts out, put some stuff on the website. So, because we're going to be contacting or have to go to customer or citizens' homes to check to see if their lines are, unless they already know. Newer homes, obviously, older homes. But you probably had I don't know if you had yours replaced during the road
They only replaced
just up
to the
meter.
sidewalk, right,
Gotcha.
that's it,
Okay.
yeah. The rest was us,
So, yeah, we'll be doing that inventory. We have to submit that to the state.
yeah.
and in your
And,
house,
and then one final
my
thing I
house.
just wanted to mention, we had a fun little lunch yesterday. So Gay had said to me, we were talking and said, let's go down to the wharf and eat lunch in the pavilion. It's so nice outside. And I go, why don't we invite everybody?
Oh,
so
fun.
we had like 13, 14 people, Public Works, Police Department,
That's
office
awesome.
staff, and we just met down there. It said, if you brought your lunch, bring it. If you didn't, buy it, whatever. and we all just met down there, and so it was nice. Little time,
awesome.
brought in some extra picnic tables and sat around.
I love that.
Yeah,
great,
it was
yeah.
pretty cool. And 2 people today have said to me, when are we doing that again? That was so much fun. So we'll do it again.
Pay attention to the tide.
Yeah.
Yeah, whoa, I know.
It
Man,
was
it's-
starting to come up when we were leaving. Yeah. Gabe's
Yeah.
like, look at the. So I do have a picture, which was also on my thumb drive I was going to pull up, but I'll send it to the council.
Yeah, please do. That's really awesome. I wish the chief of police had stayed. Just really interested in speed trailer data. From the last couple times it's been deployed, it was in Symphony Village for a time. It's in Providence Farm now. Would want the data, and then also to know where what the schedule is, because we're getting more and more complaints. At least I
I think
am.
we've been going Little Kidwell again,
Yeah,
and Hope Road again.
yeah, Hope
Yes.
Road again for sure.
I do know, and I don't know if they continue to have issues with this speed trailer. The company apparently does not send out technicians for it anymore. We've had to replace the motherboard ourselves in it. The battery continues it's there, and then it's working fine. and
Yeah,
the
it
next
flashes
day
random messages.
Yes, so that, it may be that, I don't know if it's
Okay.
necessarily working on your street right now, but that is one of the things that
I
we
mean, it's tracking
talked about.
speed,
Is it?
but yeah, I would love to see the data. I'd also like to see the data from Symphony Village last month, because I think you were copied on the email. Dog was run over in Symphony Village by someone, I know, by someone speeding. They were requesting a lowering of their speed limit. I let them know that the state law only allows us to lower the speed limit below 25 in school zones, but that perhaps there's things that they could talk about within their community for speed reduction and, visual breaks in the road, those sorts of things that they could probably get our permission to do back there. And maybe just some enforcement a little bit back there. Most people back there either live there or are there for a purpose, but there are lots of home health aides and other, people that are working back there that are going back there, and our own staff also going back there to the water thingamajig that's back there that could watch their
Station.
speed.
Pump station.
Pump station.
Yeah. Watch their speed, and unfortunately for them, the trailhead that they drive on to get there is directly across from my father's house. He's had a lot of free time, y'all, so if they drive a little bit off the path, I hear about it.
I did want to compliment the PD on the targeted speed enforcement along Little Kidwell. That's been noticed. I
Yeah.
think it's been helpful. I've seen plenty of people stopped. I was not one of them yet. Knock on wood.
Or not on wood.
I just don't go that way.
That's the point.
It was,
I go to Kidwell.
Yeah.
Y'all could just obey the speed limit.
Rough
That's an
neighborhood.
option available to you. It's the one I take.
Yeah.
it also, the council, and I don't remember which one, asked for the speed trailer data to be included on the monthly
Yes,
reports
I asked
too.
that,
So
yeah.
that has been communicated, so they are going to.
Okay, perfect. Great. Yeah, it'd be great to see, especially because of that complaint we received and request from Symphony Village. We legally are really limited when it comes to lowering the speed limit, but if there's things we can do with enforcement, let's do it. All right, looks like town clerk has something.
She
Yes.
does.
Businesses of character. So the town of Centreville is interested in becoming a business of character, and I just kind of just listed out what we must do to meet those obligations. I noticed coming in today that the Queen Anne's County is a business of character, and they have their plaque on the wall downstairs. We would do something similar at Town Hall. We could incorporate a number of these things. My questions were, was it something you wanted, like Main Street, to get involved with in any way, asking other businesses to be a part, or just blast it online or discuss it with?
I like all of the above.
Yeah, I think so. And I really think the encouragement of town staff to participate as character counts coaches too, and be given the time to do that. It's a really, really low time commitment, like 40 minutes a month. I mean, there's some prep time obviously too for your lessons or whatever, but some encouragement there. I would love to see the chief and some other police officers participate in both that and the Men Can Read or whatever it's called at the library. You guys should consider that too, where men go into public schools and read to help encourage boys to read for fun. But this, I mean, I'm a character counts coach. I love it. I think it's great. This is my second year doing it. Would encourage everyone to do it and would love to see Centerville sign on as a business of character.
And we also have the ability, should we so choose, to donate to character counts. I know we had already looked at A10, that we did have some funds. I know committed some funds this evening.
Not all of them.
No, not all of them, but if that was something you wanted to consider, that's great, and it is not an obligation to.
What level of membership's the county?
I don't know, but I can find out.
Probably not on here.
Someone peek downstairs at their plaque.
It's probably not on
I will
here.
happily find
Probably
out.
way above 500.
Yeah, they fund the whole program. I'm just kidding. It's a county function.
But yes, what we would like to, we were going to sign up, I just wanted to know your thoughts on everything.
Yeah, I think we should definitely sign up. I'm
Yeah.
open to whatever. If we want to donate and be a level, I think,
You have 2 months left in your budget,
right, it's like,
so, I mean,
we've a little bit operated under the, people should ask us, but I don't even know that it's on the radar. You know, character counts staff-wise is a one person shop for the county. I don't know that it would even be on their radar to ask us. You know, I know they're soliciting from businesses and stuff. So I'd like to see us do it. I'd like to see us put a little money behind it. I think it's just a little bit of putting your money where your mouth is. None of these are extreme requests, but I don't think we have to go straight to the top either. If anyone else has any feelings about it.
Maybe we could do 250, that would reserve, in case somebody else
Yeah.
comes up in the next couple of months.
Yeah.
We'd have something left over. Okay.
All right, does someone want to make a motion to that effect?
Make a motion to contribute $250 to
Character counts.
character counts, yes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Perfect. This is a pretty good first town clerk's report.
Yeah, I'm excited.
and she brought, I was like, oh, she's doing a report.
We're so
I
easy.
skipped right over you because I was pumped for character counts. Do you have anything, town attorney? No? Okay. All right, we will now go into our second citizens forum. Do any citizens wish to? Oh my gosh, here she comes. Please state your name.
I'm Jamie Johnson, and I'm on the lookout. I'm just curious what's going on with the mill, because it is falling into the road. It's getting pretty bad, so I didn't know if you guys have talked to the owners or if we're doing anything about that.
We have our next follow-up with the owner this coming week. So it's very much on the radar.
Okay.
Good question.
That's a great question. Aubrey, anything you'd like to address the council about?
So the follow-up was this week, coming
Yeah,
this week?
this coming week. Yep.
Can't remember.
All right. Council roundtable, Councilmember Keel.
Look, I'm excited
Oh my God.
because guess what? The water tower is clean
Oh,
and it looks so good. Nobody's probably noticed it.
right.
Have
yeah.
not.
I got a picture of
This
my
one?
buddy. No, the one out to behind Delmarva Power.
Oh, yes.
I was sitting there. I was doing something, and my buddy sent me a picture of them cleaning the water tower.
Oh,
It was pretty awesome. And it's all clean now, so it doesn't look green anymore.
Santa
Now
Claus
it's
got
blue.
my letter.
I'll have to ride
Until
out
a
there.
couple years from now, maybe it'll be green again. So who knows? We'll have to clean it again. But
Always
yes,
keeping it real for us.
I'm really happy about that.
Councilmember Keel. All right, anything else?
that's it.
Okay. Councilmember Worth.
I attended a virtual meeting with the county consultant about a recreational center. Oh, yeah, and Carolyn was in on that, too.
forgot about that.
Right, basically, they had us answer
to attend
they had us answer the online survey. That's pretty much what they had us do, so.
They're
anybody
presenting
could do
about it
that.
at COG, right?
They are, yeah.
Oh,
Steve
yeah.
Shanley, the director of Parks and Rec, is going to be at COG. I think he's just going to talk about it, not necessarily
Yeah.
try and, like they did with us on the
please do,
virtual,
yeah.
but just get the information out.
Okay.
That's all.
That's all right, Council Vice President.
Yeah, just something real quick, and we can talk about this at a future meeting at more length, but knowing that the central office for the school system is going to be vacated, there's other buildings, the jail, you name it. Over the next 10 to 15 years, we know the county has a plan to vacate some of these spaces. And so my suggestion would be, and I would like to volunteer to be one of these folks, is that we put together a delegation of maybe 2 of us, town manager, and set up a meeting in the next couple months with Todd Mon and maybe a couple of the commissioners that would be interested in this topic, just to kind of get a better understanding of what that timeline looks like, what their plans are, if any, for any of these spaces. There's a lot of ideas on the table right now through CREED and other sources. There's grants coming down. Secretary Day, I think, has some interest along with some other secretary level folks for what's going on in Centreville. So I just think it would be nice to start that conversation, maybe a little more formally, begin informally, but just get a better idea of what's coming. So
I talked to one after the COG meeting, and he said it was up to him. He would sell both properties to private
Yeah.
people to get rid of them, get them back on the tax map for the town. Of course, that's just one of them, so,
hey,
yes,
Yeah, I'd be happy to sit in a meeting with
yes.
you and Todd. Yeah.
sounds good.
All right, cool. All right, just a couple things from me. It's going to be a great weekend in Centreville. Tomorrow's First Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Be music in the square, games, free arcade for kids, some other games, lots of vendors coming out to shop from, food vendor, some other shops. Should be really, really fun. 6 to 8 p.m. in the square and on Lawyers Row. And then Sunday, it's finally here, the best time of the year. The Centreville Farmers Market is soft opening this Sunday. The official first day is on Mother's Day next weekend, but there is a soft opening with a few vendors this weekend, and you should, if you don't already go to the farmers market, you should. Sunday from 9 to 1.
You're here.
So that is all I've got.
You don't have anything scheduled for Saturday?
No. I know. Well, you could sing in the square.
Oh,
I'm
no.
sure people would gather
I
around.
don't think anybody wants to hear that. I don't think so. I can try it.
First Friday is Justin Singleton. So it should be really great. Encourage everyone to come out. We will have, I think we're going to have pretty good attendance. It's supposed to be beautiful. And so I think it should be great. Anything else before we adjourn? All right, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.